that went city to city trying to get people out to vote so we could have rights in America that was afforded to us by the Constitution. So when I think of Black History Month, those are some of the names that I think of.
Strong words from Shannon Sharp. Thank you for that. Back to our top story now. You know, it is just crazy to think of Russell Wilson playing anywhere but Seattle, but he's not happy there. And rumor is he wants out. So reports are he'd go to 4 teams. One of those 4 teams, the Dallas Cowboys. But Jenna, the Cowboys already have a quarterback. They just haven't paid him yet. You're right, me. You think they're holding out for Russ? A report yesterday said, no, Dallas still wants Dak as their quarterback. Brandon, you surprised the Cowboys would prefer Dak over Russ?
No, I think this is actually smart. I mean, talent only takes you so far. I do believe that Russell Wilson is the better quarterback, but Dak is special as well. Dak is a dude that is getting better every single year. Before he went down, the dude was average. The offense was averaging almost 500 yards a game. They were spectacular. What was the issue? Ball security. And we know what our buddy Wilds always says. He just stole my slogan. Ball security is job security, yours and mine. And then on the defensive side, I mean, that was the worst defense that we've ever seen, and it cost Coach Nolan his job. So I think it's smart, Nick, that they doubled down, or they're talking about doubling down on Dak, because Dak is a dude that can win you a Super Bowl. But I do find it interesting that this is on the list. I do find it interesting that Russell Wilson's camp will potentially put that out there. So there's a lot to this story.
That's right.
But the Cowboys doubling down on Dak is good.
So, Brandon, I'm going to throw it back to you. As a wide receiver, of course, if you said you wanted to go to Tampa Bay, you want to play with Tom Brady, you're going to come out of retirement, I don't think any of the other wide receivers would feel some kind of way about it. It's like, oh, all right, more weapons, the better. We're good. I thought it was curious that Russ put the Cowboys on his list when he knows Dak is there. Because even when the 49ers kicked the tires on Brady, we were like, oh, how could you do that to Jimmy G? You don't believe in Jimmy G. Where this feels a little messed up. Like, I see putting the Saints on there, like, yeah, you know, if Drew Brees leaves, you know, I'd be a good fit down there. You know, it's like in Jameis and Taysom Hill, that feels all right. But it almost feels, I don't want to say disrespectful, but I will say it felt curious that he put the Cowboys on his list out there publicly. Because if I was Dak, I'd be like, yo, what are you doing? That's my job, dude. I'm like, that's where I work. Did that hit your radar at all?
It did hit my radar, but you never know. You know, earlier on in the show, remember I said that the Chicago Bears, they looked into this. They've had conversations. There's been some inquiries. So when you think about the Dallas Cowboys situation, what is going on behind the scenes? I don't know. Do you know? Maybe. I don't know. Tell me. But when you see Russell Wilson and you see this situation, you know whose fault this is? This is the Dallas Cowboys' fault. This is Jerry Jones' fault, because this deal was supposed to be done a year and a half ago.
Well, that's it.
And that's why you're in this situation. There you go.
Dak's not a member of the Dallas Cowboys. He's not. He's no more than me, Brandon, Wilds, Jenna. I mean, they have the ability to...
No more than me.
No, Wilds, it is. I mean, at the moment, it is true. They have the ability to franchise tag him. He is not under a long-term contract. And if I'm Russ, I'm thinking they can't come to a deal.
Yeah.
My deal, one of the things Russ has going for him is cost certainty. You know exactly what it costs to have Russell Wilson as your quarterback, which is why I find of these 4 teams, like we can go through the list quickly again. The Saints, I do not believe it is possible with the cap. The Bears, I do not believe they have the assets to make it work. The Raiders, if you love Derek Carr, they do have the assets, but if you're mediocre on Derek Carr, ambivalent, then it doesn't work. The Cowboys, however, are in that Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. They have a quarterback that they have carved out $35 to $40 million of cap room for, but they can't come to an agreement with, that they seem to believe-ish in, but not fully. Because if you fully believed in him, they would have had this deal done a long time ago. for Russ's purposes, it's like, okay, they might not have the offensive line they had 2 years ago, but they've got an offensive line that's a hell of a lot better than anything I've ever dealt with. And they have as deep of a wide receiving core in the league. They are always a free agent destination. And if you're the Seahawks, you're like, you know what Dak Prescott isn't? High maintenance. And you know what we think maybe Russell Wilson is becoming? High maintenance. Dak's younger. He has been, prior to the ankle injury, just as durable. Great leader, great intangibles. We're not losing a ton in that area where Russ is one of the best. And because Russ is the better player, we could maybe say we'll listen if it's Dak and Zeke. And the Cowboys might say, well, that's a big price, but we did overpay for Zeke, and getting off that contract wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. This, to me, Wilds, is the one trade where I'm like, oh, that could work. A trade based on Dak and Russ, pardon me, and then you work out the fine-tuning of the edges could work, where the Cowboys get better right now, the Seahawks get younger, and they really fully, even more further empower Pete Carroll to run his system. And I think the Seahawks are like, we can win a Super Bowl with Dak the same way we won one with a young Russ. So this one to me is very, very intriguing and something that resonates as a real possibility.
See, the possibility part of it to me is fascinating, because I would be shocked if it happened. If you take the fact, and it's a large fact, that they didn't get the deal done, everything that the Cowboys say and everything that Dak posts on social media with his cowboy hat, like, howdy, everybody, everything points to them getting the job done. Jerry Jones is like, going forward without Dak is like going forward without Stephen Jones. And even after the injury, they're like, he's still our guy. We're looking forward to doing the deal. So to me, I would be shocked, especially they've said all the right things, and we're in the golden age of alienating your franchise quarterback between Deshaun and Russ and everybody.
Yeah, that's right. Pay this man.
Jenna, right. You know what it is, Jenna? Jenna, it's, and I know you'll empathize with this from your younger years, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's your friend that's been engaged for 5 years.
Her birthday. Stop.
And it's like, when are you getting married? It's like okay, that's great. You got a lot of pictures on the gram. You're going on vacation together. You love each other. When's the wedding?
Yeah.
When is the wedding? The wedding might never actually happen. It might not happen.
You said it. You're like, Nick said yesterday, I don't want to go into the offseason still talking about Dak's contract, because that's what